what is Coby's future role in the story of One Piece? In chapters 1087 and 1088, Coby witnessed as Garp single-handedly fended off a handful of the 10 Titanic captains, which included his former student and admiral Aokiji Kuzan. Now, while Garp was holding them off, what did Coby do? He fell for a trap which resulted with Garp suffering a serious injury. Yet despite suffering this injury, he continued to hold off the pirates of the Hachinosu, while Coby, the rest of Sword, and the civilians fled the island. In that moment, Coby witnessed firsthand what it truly means to be a hero. Despite him being known as the hero of the Marines, he himself never viewed it that way, because he believed his actions were something any Navy officer would do. Protecting civilians should be a Marine's first and primary duty. So Coby never viewed himself as a hero, and he got to witness it firsthand in this moment. And after witnessing this, Coby performed an extraordinary feat by destroying Alvaro Pizarro's gigantic island hand. In that moment, Coby awakened to his ability to use Conqueror's Haki, and at the same time, he managed to infuse it with his armament Haki, albeit only slightly. But regardless, in that moment, Coby knew exactly what he wanted to be. He resolved himself into becoming a true hero, and in doing so, is probably gonna give up on his dream of being an admiral, because he witnessed here firsthand Vice Admiral Garp, one of the strongest Marine soldiers, who refused to become an admiral because it meant he had to serve directly under the Celestial Dragons, people who hurt and enslave civilians. An admiral's duty is to safeguard the Celestial Dragons' health and comfort, not the civilians. So if Coby were to become an animal, he'd have to forsake the people in favor of the Celestial Dragons. And the fact that Coby in this situation witnessed Vice Admiral Garp be taken down by a former admiral also adds to it. Because I don't know if Coby is aware of this, but one of the reasons that Aokiji left the Marines and became a pirate is because of Sakazuki and his actions during the Ohara incident. Up until that point, it seemed like Aokiji was fully committed to the Marines and their objectives. He believed that everything the Marines did was to protect the people. But then he witnessed Sakazuki destroy a civilian vessel in the name of the Marines and then get rewarded for it. That was probably the moment Aokiji started losing faith in the Marines and the world government. And the fact that this man is now in charge of it, he is the fleet admiral, means that Aokiji could no longer associate with anything that the Marines stood for. So the fact that the person who is a senior disciple who studied under the same person as him left the Marines and is now a pirate proves that the Marines are no longer capable of protecting the people. Their sense of justice does not align with what Garp and Aokiji stood for. You might be thinking, oh, Aokiji betrayed the Marines and no longer cares about protecting people. That's not exactly true. We kind of see it in his fight with Garp. Throughout their fight, Aokiji continually says, Blackbeard is not here. It looks bad on me if I let you guys escape. He never once indicated that he's fighting them out of resentment or hatred. It's just to ensure that Blackbeard doesn't lose trust in him, and the fact that he primarily fought against Garp, the person who preaches about abandoning the old and safeguarding the future, and allowed the young ones like Hibari, Coby, Helmeppo, Prince. He did not give them a lot of attention. He attacked some of them by freezing Hibari, but he allowed her to escape. He allowed Coby to escape, but he made sure Garp was captured. And in that final moment, we see Aokiji have a solemn look on his face. You could tell it hurt him defeating his mentor. But he knew that is what his mentor would want. If he had to capture someone, it had to be the elderly, the man who is closest to dying, and allow the future of the Marines to escape. Coby may not be fully aware of this, but seeing as how his mentor was willing to sacrifice himself to ensure their safety is exactly what Coby needed to see. So most likely, he's going to carry on in Garp's footsteps, and Garp, being someone who did not want to become a Navy Admiral because it would mean he no longer could protect innocent people, means that Coby's probably going to do the same thing. And that is why he gained Conqueror's Haki. In that moment, I believe he resolved himself into becoming the king of heroes, just like his mentor Garp. He's going to become someone who values the lives of the people greater than that of the nobility. And if he were to become an admiral, the Fleet Admiral, the Gorosei, and the world government in general are going to do everything to stifle his growth and his ability to protect people. Unintentionally, that is, because they're more likely to put him on missions to protect the Celestial Dragons rather than sending him out in order to fight to protect the citizens. So underneath the current banner of the world government, Coby will never become an admiral. Honestly, he's far more likely to become a revolutionary than an admiral. But we know he values the Marines greatly because they do everything they can to safeguard the people. Even though the Revolutionary Army does does do that too, Coby doesn't view it that way. He views their methods as illegal and attempting to entice war and violence. That's not what Coby would want. He would want peace, happiness, and prosperity. And the only way he would be able to do that is by changing the Marines from the inside. That's why he is a member of SWORD, even though he still associates with the Marines. As a member of SWORD, he is granted more freedom. So he'll definitely become a Vice Admiral, but he'll never become an Admiral, even if it's offered to him. He will turn it down just like Garp did so he can continue to help people. Maybe in the future, if the Revolutionary Army won, uprooted the world government, changed the system completely, and eliminated the Celestial Dragons, then maybe Coby might become an Admiral. And maybe even Fleet Admiral. But that's only when the Navy is solely dedicated to protecting the people.